Hi everybody, I'm Sarah and welcome to the Big Blue House Homestead. It's been a crazy couple days here and I have fallen a little behind with some of the things that I wanted to get done, but I'll eventually get there. I wanted to do some quick updates on the garden today because last night was the first time I've had to water my garden in a month. Yeah, it's great. I mean, you get lots of rain, helps you out. It's free water, free maintenance, free work. You don't have to do it all. But unfortunately, the weather keeps saying that we're percentages of rain's coming and then nothing happens and I get a mist and then maybe a little sprinkle and not fun. But just wanted to do some updates on the garden. I also want to show you guys the baby chicks because they are getting big and they're looking beautiful. And there's a hummingbird. I don't know if you can hear that squeak. I put my hummingbird feeders up and he's over there squeaking. He's happy. I'm gonna see if I can get him on camera. Okay, I got distracted by the hummingbirds. I'm sorry. I love watching them. It's one of my favorite things. I actually want to build like a hummingbird sanctuary and do branches and little roosts for them and fill my porch with hummingbird feeders. And that'll happen. We'll get that going at some point. But anyway, back to the garden. I've got things growing. I've got things producing. Everything's planted except the pumpkins, and I'll get those done soon. And then I'll reseed the corn because the crows keep pulling it up. And overall, I'm happy. I mean, it's a success so far. My tomatoes are now to the point where they absolutely have to be tied and the pruning needs to start to happen. I started cleaning up some of the weeds in some of the areas. It does take a lot of time to maintain your garden, especially when you don't use the weed cloths. And I had thought about putting down landscape fabrics, but I did it last year and I just was like, oh well, I'll just keep doing the work that I'm doing and I don't mind doing the labor. So I just get out there with my little stirrup hoe, saddle hoe, scuttle hoe, and just scuttle away and do my work and get it cleaned. And it really doesn't take long. It just takes time and effort and I have to get myself out there. But it's starting to look good. Things are getting big, so let's go check out the garden. All right, Chi-Chi, where are we going? We're going to the garden? You gonna show me? Where do I need to go? Over that way? Oh, you're gonna fight now. You meanie. Well, I'm going to the garden. All right, so started cleaning out the squash bed and it is looking awesome. Plants are getting big and I am loaded up with little baby squash. Can you see that? I got quite a few coming on all these plants. Yeah, baby squash everywhere. All right, I think I'm gonna harvest peas tomorrow. A lot of these are getting really big and you can see my plants are starting to fall. But they weren't filling out fast enough, so I'm just giving them a couple extra days and I watered them really heavy last night. Let's check out a pea and see what they look like. All right, peas are looking good. Sorry, I was burying stuff earlier and so I've got dirt under my nails, but those are some nice looking peas. So yeah, I guess I'll snack on these while we walk around. This is my strawberry spinach. It's an heritage plant, not an heirloom. It's even older. It's said to be like back from way back. But it's a really cool plant. You can eat these leaves. They're getting really lush already. But you can eat all these leaves and they taste very similar to spinach, but they also produce a red berry that tastes like mulberries. And so I'm just letting them go the way they are. But I put them in the shade just because they don't need full sun all the time. And I thought this would be beneficial, and they're actually surviving better here than they ever have in the garden. So I may start planting these in shade. But my acorn squash are filling out. I'm doing really well. Still have weeds in my bed, so ignore those guys, but I have a lot going on. I got some antique marigolds planted over here. They're very large, beautiful flowers. I'll actually show those when they start to bloom. Got some zinnias, and I have a sunflower right there that just popped up. And then all my radicchio is filling out and getting big. I have an empty spot right in there in the middle. You can see where my shade stops over here. Just because the sun hasn't moved all the way. But yeah, I've got this empty spot I have to figure out. And then all of these peppers, these are the Pinot Noirs, they have flowers already. So I have to pluck all those here real soon. All right, this was volunteer corn. It just came up. I planted corn here last year. It didn't do very well, so I don't know if these guys will. But I'm leaving it. I'm just going to have it be corn. Now, I did plant my basil together in bunches, but it's only because I got it in the ground. I'll come through and I'll clip out a bunch of these, but I'll also wait till they get a little bit darker because they started to turn yellow and I need to just get them in some fresh dirt. But as soon as they start getting a little bit bigger, I'm gonna pull them apart, like dig the whole plant up or the whole cluster. I'll pull them apart and then I'll spread them out better. But like I said, I was just in a hurry to get them in the ground. All right, Romano beans are coming in pretty good. I got some little habaneros over here. And like I said, I've got a couple that just aren't doing so great. The heat got to them and they needed to be watered. So yeah, I might be losing these habaneros. We'll see. All right, so that's all the corn. Yeah, it should have been completely filled. I'll have to get out and put more seed in so I can get more corn. My okra goof up is actually turning out to be kind of fun. Look at all those okra plants. So I might just leave them the way they are. Peanuts Pepper said you don't have to thin out your okra. They're not too close. Some of them are a little tight, but you know what? I might just leave them and let it just do its natural thing. Lots more squash over here. I actually have a bumblebee. Yep, see, I got somebody in there doing their job. But you can see there's a little squash. It's all filling out nicely, and I got a lot of stuff going on over here. I don't think that tomato plant's gonna make it. I hit it with my saddle hoe when I was trying to clean up and messed it up, but I'm not gonna complain because I still have that entire row of all these beautiful tomato plants. So maybe I don't need all these tomatoes after all. You can definitely see the difference. That bed was weeded and this one wasn't. But all the peppers in here are doing excellent. Tomatoes are looking great. The lima beans are doing awesome. They're starting to send out their little runners, and I'll just have to get them trained in. All right, and since I had messed up and put those cowpeas here, they actually look like they're vining anyway, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. But I also planted all those garbanzo beans. So this might just be a fight to the death type of trellis where I have a lot going on. All right, look at all those sunflowers coming up. All the way down the row. And they actually really do move towards the sun even without heads on them. They lean now. You can see them leaning. As soon as the sun moves to the opposite side of the garden, they'll turn that way too. But I have some fennel coming up in this empty space. It's nothing but a little wispy grass right now, so it's not worth showing. But then all of these peppers are doing great. And then these tomato plants are doing really, really good. And I've got beans popping up left and right. Just wanted to give you guys a close-up. Look how nice these stems are turning out. Got a couple spaghetti squash. I've got an old marigold. I have a zinnia. I've got some empty space because I left it purposely. This has some extra leeks in it. And then all of my artichokes. All right, sweet potatoes are bouncing back and doing really well. And then there it is, the melon trampoline, magical melon mound, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's actually, I cleaned the grass out from underneath as best I could. I put down soil, I put the box full of soil with the plants on top, and then I put mulch around that, and that way hopefully it helps. But I put straw around it too. This is on a little bit of a slope, and I want to see what the pattern is when it rains or, you know, gets really wet with water and things like that. So the straw should move and let me know how the water flows and if I need to correct any problems. But I'm just going to keep these guys fertilized and keep them going, and I think they'll do great. All right, all of my noodle beans, I have 3 different types. They're starting to take off and set those sets of leaves that start to do the trailers. So these should start filling up here real quick. And then my delicata squash is getting really big too, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, see more beans. All right, with these radishes, a lot of these are going to be coming out today. I harvest here and there as I need to. And the turnips are still way too small, so they're going to be in for a little bit longer. But that strip in between, I actually planted extra celery in. That way I can get some more celery, because I honestly lost probably 50 celery plants. And I'm not too happy about that. But the onions, they're coming on. Eggplants are doing really well. I'm just now starting to get hit with these flea beetles. But I am not going to worry about it. Every time I've grown eggplants, when they get hit with the flea beetles real heavy, they bounce back so nice, and it's not an issue. So if you're growing eggplants and you have this issue with the flea beetles, leave them in. Seriously, it really, really, really helps to just give them some time. But I am so loving the way these onion flowers are. I like the one that's curved. This kind of reminds me of like a very whimsical fairy tale or something. You would see little fairies flying around, or, you know, frogs leaping through the air. Just, I don't know. I like it. I think it's pretty. All right. Kentucky Wonder Pole beans are doing awesome. They're actually trailing up pretty high. These eggplants are doing great. Got a tomato down there. It's still pulling through. I think that's an Amish paste. I lost one in the back, but I left it and just keep it watered, and it's already pulling back through again. So I'm not going to fuss about that. That's going to just be where it is. My beets, they are just rocking it. They look so great, and they're getting really, really big. I don't want to pull any today. I'm probably going to pull them in the next 3 days. I think that'll be enough time to start pulling the bigger ones, and then we'll start talking about some more beets, because I love beets, one of my favorites. Okay, so like I said, it's getting hotter as the day goes on because it's supposed to be up to 90 today. AC's running. I apologize for the noise, but I just wanted to give you a couple updates on the crazy stuff that's happened the past few days. First of all, I have a tree in my yard, and it is a breeding ground, seriously, for black snakes. I keep pulling mating pairs out of the tree, like hairs intertwined. And I'm afraid, because black snakes lay eggs, I'm afraid that they've actually filled it with eggs. So Brian and I are going to have to cut down that entire branch because they're living inside the tree. Now, the branch is only about that big around. I don't want any more snakes. I don't want any more snakes. I've had so many so far, and that's been part of the chaos and the craziness. I mean, you're talking about knocking snakes out of trees. If you've never done that before, it's not a very simple, easy process, and it can take some time, and it can take multiple people, and it can take a lot of effort, and it can make you crazy. So, gotta take care of Mr. Snake Tree over there. Get rid of that. Other than that, my sink backed up, even worse. Plumbing pipes underneath don't fit the way they're supposed to. One side of the sink is lower than the other, and all the kits you buy from your local box stores don't go angled, they go straight, so you have to extend things down and all this stuff. So we're still trying to fix the sink. And with that being said, Brian's in there working on it now. We thought it was just an issue with the pipe under the house, so I augured all that out. That didn't work. Well, I augured it out and it ran, but it still leaked and all this other stuff. So yeah, big chaotic mess with the sink too. But last night Brian ran out as I was watering the garden. He left to go get extra parts because, you know, every time you work on a project, you forget something. Or something comes up and you don't know what you need until you actually start working on it. So he needed to run back out and get a couple parts for the sink. And the serpentine belt went out on the Jeep. So he got stranded about 30 minutes from home. We had a tow truck come to get the car and bring it here because he can just replace the serpentine belt himself. But unfortunately, the guy would not give him a ride with the car because everything going on. He didn't want to get the virus. And so Brian got stuck standing in the middle of the street with a phone in hand talking to me and calling cab companies. And he finally got a cab to show up, but it took them probably an hour and a half to get there. Luckily, it was a really nice night last night and it wasn't hot. Unfortunately, I don't drive, so I couldn't go pick him up. And yeah, I felt so bad for him. He just got stuck waiting out there for first the tow truck, then the cab, and it was like he didn't get home till almost 11 o'clock, and it was a very long night for him. So poor Brian. I feel really bad. But we're going to try to get the sink fixed today because now I have no dishes because we've almost used them all, and my counter is completely covered. And if the sink doesn't happen, then I'm going to be washing dishes in my yard and then putting them through the dishwasher because at least that will drain still and not cause leaks and problems. But yeah, it's about to get really old school here soon. I mean, I'm going to be out here with a wash tub and piles of dishes sitting on the ground with a water hose cleaning my dishes. It's part of life. That's what happens when you purchase homes. Everything falls apart. That's what happens when one thing falls apart. Everything else falls apart. Lots of chaos and lots of this and that. So, I also didn't mention I have a skunk. Had a skunk in the past, but he's only walked the yard and eaten grubs. No, this skunk is like eating duck eggs that I was trying to bait snakes with, and my compost. And I haven't seen him in the chicken coop yet, but you never know. But he's a big guy. Big fat skunk. Nasty skunk. So I have to work on that. That's another fun one. Yeah, you ever tried to run out and shoo a skunk away? It's kind of scary. Yeah, I don't know what to do except just kind of give him his time and effort and let him do his thing, and then just keep chasing him away as much as I can. Hey, Chi-Chi. What you doing? You coming to visit? All right. Now you're going to beat up a shoe? You're crazy. All right, so yeah. Garden updates, chaotic days, and I'm going to end this by going and showing you the babies because they've turned out really, really pretty so far. Hi. Yeah, so I need to change this out today. They're really messy. Chicks are very, very messy if you didn't know that. But let me pick one up and show you these colors. First of all, look how big they're getting. And look at those wings. Aren't those beautiful? His little striped butt. And look, he's getting his little tail in. You're such a sweetie. Aren't they pretty? They're so cute. All right, well, let's hope that they get bigger and prettier because I like them already. Turned out really nice colors and really nice tones. And since they're just getting their full feathers in, they'll still change even more and more and more. So anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.